Bucko, mighty Bucko, hello and welcome once more to Mighty Bucko and birthday boy again. Is it really a year, Bucko, since Porthmirion? Time waits for no man. It certainly is. 61, 23rd of the 8th. 1961. So, welcome. Welcome to you all. Bit of an update for August. And few birthday cards. Lovely card from Janie. And a nice balloon there. Happy birthday. Some of these, look at this one. Can you see? You are one of my favourite humans. On the big blue and green ball. Dave and Sandra from Leicester, God bless you. Thank you. And what we got here? To Leicester's #1 fan. Oh, please, don't set me off. Don't set me off. And Grandad, what's this one? Grandad, happy birthday to you. We've got loads more in the living room. Just a smattering to give you a taste. Now, I'm looking very green today, isn't it? And no, this hat has not got dirt in it. I brought two of them in St Ives. This is the darker version. And the Gutsy Captain. I'm going to have a little drink with you, but this is non-alcoholic. I will be having a little tipple later this evening. Maybe a curry, I think. Will go down well. The Gutsy Captain. Living green tea. Lovely. So, I hope you've all been well. I have, but I did actually go to the doctors. I'm pouring this out. Have a little drink. It's a health drink, you know. Lovely. I like green tea. Very refreshing. So, I had a bit of an ear infection. It's been coming and going. I got medication for it ages back. It's come back again. I've had trouble with my throat last year, 6 or 7 months with a hacking cough and a dry throat. It even affected doing my talks on occasion. Anyway, we rang through, and you know what it's like trying to get through to a doctor nowadays. And I says to Janie, can you do it? Can you, while I go little, can you hold the phone? Yes, she says. And you are number 100 and whatever it is in the queue. And I'm like, oh, okay. Anyway, I get back and she says, yes, he'll ring you later on. So I'm in the supermarket and can you get there for 10 to 12? I says, yeah, go on then. I'll get there for 12. 10 to 12. I'll go in. I'll put me exempt on because I don't want any hassle. They're all muzzled up, all sitting there, and the people behind the desk and everything, all muzzled up and miserable. Anyway, he calls me through, I go through, and he's standing across the room. And I back into this chair and this desk, and I sit down. And he says, that's my desk, my chair. And we both laugh. I should really have said, yeah, what's up, Doc? Oh dear me. And yeah. Anyway, he gave me something to put up the nose. 2 drops up this one, 2 drops up that one, and oh dear me. I guess it's all connected throat. I don't know if I should be taking this. I mean, I don't really trust them, to be honest. But I suppose when you're ill, you anyway, I won't go into that. Now, I had a dream. And this is a funny one and all. I'm in bed, middle of the night with Janie, and I'm dreaming. I'm going down this street, and there's these terrorists. I peep round the corner, and they've coshed someone on the head, and they're trying to put a bomb into this building. So I back round the corner, and there's a chap coming, and I tell him what's going on. And I peep again, and then I shout in my dream, police! And Janie says, oh, you're shouting for the police. And I wake up, but the second police shouting is muffled. You're like, police. going like that. She said, "Oh, are you all right?" I said, yeah, I'm all right. I think I laughed. I said, "What? Waste of time calling them, innit?" I think I even said that when I woke up. And to show what a waste of time it is, there must be good police. No disrespect meant, but you know what I mean. And you do know what I mean. So, just the other day, 23rd today, August, on the 22nd, we're, what was it, Thursday? That was a couple of days. I won't go into it. Anyway, we're going to work, and it's the headquarters for Leicestershire Police, and there's a police car sitting there waiting with the traffic light to come in onto the main drag, right? And we're parked up, we stop, and a car comes straight through the red light. So I said to Gav, what are they going to do now then? And we're looking at him like this. And yeah, exactly what you expect. Note. Didn't do nothing. And they came out even slower than normal and pulled onto the main road and made their way. Waste of time. And they're really the police. And it was a very sad story. Another one on the news again. In a care home, a 91-year-old man with one leg and suffering from dementia got a knife and began threatening staff. Now, some of these old people can have strength and this and that, but he's got one leg, he's 91 years old, and 3 police were called. They hit him with a baton, they pepper sprayed him and tasered him, and he died not long thereafter. Now, surely there must have been a better way to go about things. Is this how some of us will end up? God forbid we lose our minds and end up in this state of this elderly gentleman. But there was no need for all of that, was there? No need for that. I mean, just section him off. I mean, just gather around him or back, get everyone away from him. And with dementia, in a bit, if you don't take a lot of notice, he'll put the knife down, put the telly on. I mean, there's no need for this. What's wrong with these people? Anyway. Now, I don't get paid, for advertising these various products that come out. Let's mention the Commonwealth Games because we drive by it, past Perry Bar, and we see the stadium from the motorway. So did you watch much of it? Did you see the opening ceremony? Do you remember the times they used to just declare the games open? We declare the games to be open. And they march around waving at the crowds. Here comes Holland, here comes, whatever. And those days, do you remember a couple of dignities, just saying a few words, and we declare the games open? Gone in those days, you got 2.5 hours of court ceremonies. They don't even try to hide it. So what did you see, Booker? Well, there was incoming comets, there was pyramids, there was the all-seeing eye, and then you had that black bull dragged in by Roman slaves, pulling it in, and red fiery eyes. You know what it reminded me of? Years back, people in the Hindu religion brought in a black bull to the centre of Leicester by the clock tower. Yeah, and worshipped it. Idolatrous. Horrible stuff. But it reminded me of that. And then the ending of it, we had Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, dancing about with all that. And so you began with open idolatry and ended up with a black mass. Goodness. Oh, my. He was known as the Prince of Darkness, wasn't he? Although he says he's not a Satanist. By their fruit, you'll know him. And then we had some sad news, didn't we? On the news recently, Olivia Newton-John died. And on the 8th of the 8th, 2022. So I thought to myself, and this is all Bucko now, working this out, putting those principles of Franchot Pearson, the codes, the clues, the colours, the calculation of time, the coincidences, the conclusion. Once you've learnt a few bits from him, you can sit down and work things out for yourself. So I did, and I thought, okay, let's have a look. So 8 of the 8th. So 8 add 8, add 20, add 22 comes to 58. Now let's add them individually. 8 plus 8 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, 22. 22 from 58 is 36, 3 6s, 666. Ah. Not Olivia Diab. No, look, I'm not suggesting that she is the Antichrist. Of course not. But it seems to be an indication they work for the powers. If you can see that. So I thought to myself, okay, let's look at her history, because I don't know nothing really much about her. I've seen Grease, that film, and some of her music, sweet voice. So let's have a think. So I studied a bit, and I got all this within about 7-8 minutes. Right, I've worked it out, and now, when you look at her history, and Mum came from Germany, fleeing from the Nazis, okay, and her dad, get this. Now, my dad was a bus conductor. Maybe yours was a train driver, or some other job, a teacher of some sort. Or her dad worked for MI5. Yeah, and he was involved in the arrest of Rudolf Hess, Hitler's deputy, like you do. I mean, and her granddad on her maternal side was a Nobel Prize winner, physicist. And I'm sure you've all got granddads who are Nobel Prize winning. Am I being a little bit naughty here, Bucko? Well, it does seem to indicate that is a little bit unusual. You would have to agree. Yeah. And then we had Salman Rushdie on the 12th of August was attacked in New York and stabbed in the neck and the abdomen. Exactly 33 years after the Ayatollah Khomeini put the old fatwa on him. 33 being the Freemason number. Yeah. So while we're on numerology, I'll give you a few more. Now, remember, if you viewed Fahrenheit 451, the talk I did with Phil on book burning, as we examined them 2 films, I mentioned in it that Francois Truffaut, the film director, French film director, that was the only film he made in English, died in October of 1984. And then Oscar Werner, the main fireman character in the same film, died in October of 1984. 2 together. And then in the comments, our friend Lee from Veritas Vincent put, and Richard Burton died in 1984. And he did. And it got me thinking, and I went off down a rabbit hole, didn't I? And I thought to myself, he did. 1984. And that was his last film that he made. 1984. There were 3 versions of it. Well, one was a TV BBC production in 1954 with Peter Cushing. And then you had in 1956 the Columbia version in America with Edmund O'Brien. O'Brien is a character in 1984 as well. And then you had the film made in 1984, because they wanted it made in 1984, make no mistake, 1984 with John Hurt, Richard Burton as O'Brien. And he died in 1984. So I thought to myself, off I went again, looking, okay, I checked the dates from when, the day after, the 6th of August, to when the film premiered in the UK, not in America, in the UK, because it's set in the UK. 10th of October, the theatrical release for 1984 with Richard Burton and John Hurt was exactly 66 days. And then and added to all that, Morrison's talking to Phil and Gaz. And I mentioned this to Gaz. He says, well, how old was he? I said 58. He says, and when did you say he died? 5th of August. The 8th, 58. Richard Burton was 58 when he died. Something ain't right there, is it? Now that is quite phenomenal. And all that came about, I spotted the Truffaut and Werner one previously. Lee's comment set me off. And then I figured out the time period, 66 days exactly, from the 6th of August to the 10th of October. And he was 58. The 5th of the 8th. You could also look at Tommy Cooper. He was 63 when he died. 3 sixes, 666. And what was really sad about this, he died a public death, viewed by around 6 or 7 million people on London Weekend, live TV from Her Majesty's Theatre in Westminster, London. Yeah. Was Tommy Cooper also knocked off? Goodness me. And this raises a question. It raises a question that was in one of the comments by Jane Mawson. Hello, Jane. Thanks for all your comments and kindness. She says on the Abe and Jack talk that I did on all the coincidences between Abraham Lincoln and JFK, she says, definitely a plan. She says, never heard this before. I've always said too many coincidences make a plan. The devil's at work here. Going back centuries makes me shudder. Marty, that was amazing. How can it be? She says. How can it be? And this is a very good question to ask. How can it be? And tied into that, on watching on Odyssey, one of Mark Devlin's on Prince and the Purple Rain, he says, on the second part of the talk, he says, on the deaths of Prince and these various people, he says, how much of this stuff can be down to human planning, I would ask, rather than supernatural, paranormal forces having been harnessed within creation, being put to use here. Now, he comes at it from a position of not being a Christian. I come at it from the position of being a Christian and seeing these as demonic powers. But whichever way you look at it, it's got the fact that, as he says, how much of this is people sitting around trying to plan these deaths and engineer it? And that will only take you so far. Even the best plans can go wrong. Or is this unleashing the calling, the summoning and sending forth of fallen angel, demonic beings that are sent because they have done the rituals, these dark occultists, they've done the rituals after the prescribed fashion and the sacrifices. And this really becomes quite sinister. Because if this is the case, we're into films like Donna Andrews, Night of the Demon, where he's the psychologist who don't believe any of this supernatural stuff. And the same type of film with Peter Wingard. Remember him as Jason King years back? Night of the Eagle, of demonic powers sent through witchcraft and sorcery and spells and all this. Now, I don't want to leave you on a fearful note, because you see, we know God is greater and more powerful than these fallen ones. But they do have a certain power. They're defeated at the cross of Calvary. Jesus has all power and authority in heaven and earth, and he's overcome them. So these things can scare us, and we can come under attack and demonic attack, but we need the spiritual armour, as it were, to repel all these things. But we can be knocked off guard if we're not careful. So don't want to leave you in a fearful state. I'm sure you're not. But yeah, so I think I've summed up more or less what I wanted to share. So how does that song in Greece go? Greece love. Keep talking, oh, keep talking. No, I've finished. And with that, and remember, 24th of September, Black Country Museum, meet up. Myself, Janie, and all the gang. All being well, we'll be there. Phil, Gaz, and all them. Our friend Lee, Veritas Vincent, and Tim and Lorraine from Fair Play Now. You're welcome. If you want to come, be there for 11 o'clock, hang around outside, and we will have a good time and a good chat, a few drinks, some fish and chips. Look forward to seeing you. Be seeing you.